Hey there, T700 fans. Today is going to be handlebar day for me. So I plan on doing a couple of upgrades that I think are going to suit my style of riding pretty well. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the handguards. I'm going to use some Barkbusters that you can see right down there to replace these, just to provide a little bit of additional protection because they have the actual aluminum bar that goes inside of the handguards instead of just this plastic that comes stock. I'm also going to replace my clutch and my brake levers. I got those through Off the Road out of Germany. I'm excited about getting those put on. I'm also going to replace this bracket from one that I got from Rally Raid that will allow me to mount other accessories here like a GPS if I decide I want to do that instead of mounting it up on the bar. I'm going to remove, most likely, my rock form. I love rock form for my iPhone. Problem is, when I'm riding and I have my phone on there, I'm riding a lot of times with my left blinker on because I can't see the light. I am older, so I have a tendency to just drive with my blinker on anyway, according to my son. I'm also going to replace these mirrors with the double take mirrors that I got. I'm very excited about getting those Adventure double take mirrors put on today. So that's what's in store. The first thing that I removed is the right side mirror, and that's holding on the handguard bracket, as you can see right here. So I removed the mirror. The important thing to know about this mirror is that it is threaded in reverse. So actually, when you're going righty-tighty, it's really righty-loosey and lefty-tighty. I know, it's confusing to me too. And then you take a 5mm and you remove this bolt at the very end of the handlebar. With the handguard off, it's very easy to remove the brake lever if you're going to replace it. And so it just pivots around this one spot right here. I used a flathead screwdriver and a 10mm wrench to remove the bolt and the slip nut, which allowed me to get the brake lever off. Here you can see a quick comparison of the old or the stock Yamaha brake lever compared to the new one that I purchased from Off the Road in Germany. Much of my adventure riding is done with a friend who does a lot of motocross riding as well. He gave me some advice that basically said you should take your brake and your clutch levers, and instead of having them more even or parallel to the ground, you should actually have them pointing down. So when you're standing, they're a lot more comfortable on your wrist. Apparently in motocross, when you're standing as well, it just gives you a little bit of a better angle. With that, I took a 5mm and loosened these to move it down appropriately, just to make it a little bit more comfortable when I'm out of the saddle. So the next thing that has to come out for the Barkbusters is this bar end. And, you know, I thought this would be a 10mm, which is the largest sized Allen that I have, but it's actually bigger than that. I think it's a 12. What I did is I used a Torx head that I had, a very large one, and I was able to just loosen it up. It wasn't in there super tight. I think this is a T60 Torx head, and just took it easy so I didn't screw it up at all, and I was able to get it loose. So I'm going to be very careful in taking it out. With the stock bolt out, I'm putting this bolt in now from the Barkbuster package. Goes in pretty easy. It's slotted for a 17mm, so I'm going to get it in there and tighten it down a little bit. I've got a cruise control coming, so eventually I'll have to take this back out again on this side to make sure that I can adjust it appropriately and put the cruise control on the bike. The next part is a weight and a spacer into that bolt that I just inserted, and then I put the entire bar on. A big thing to note is to make sure that you get the right bar on the right side. I haven't tightened it all the way down, but it's just a 5mm to get it in there, kind of to get it in the spot where everything fits behind it. Looks like I'm going to have to do a little bit of adjustment over here once I get the rest of the remaining bracket assembled. Do note that there's some rings on the bracket assembly as well. So those need to match up appropriately. They're kind of hard to see, but you can tell that they are scored on one side when you look at them. Put the clamp connector on. I used the round-headed bolt. It's a 5mm again. I didn't tighten this up just yet, and I'm running the handlebar from lock to lock to make sure it's not going to hit anything. As you can tell, it's still loose. So once I get everything put on and I can check it and make sure that nothing's going to hit, I'm going to tighten everything up. I've assembled the plastic guard for the right side as well. There wasn't a lot of instructions, or I've already thrown them away, but these do say right and left on them, so that should make it easy. You have two sets of screws, and the ones with the smaller heads that are a little bit longer are the ones to put the plastic guard on. It looks as though you could put this in two different positions, a high position and a low position, and so I put it in the high position because I have big hands, or at least that's what my wife says. With the guard actually now in place and put onto the aluminum bar, now it's just a matter of personal preferences as to how high or how low you want this. Just again, make sure that as you go from lock to lock on the handlebar that you're not hitting anything. These stick out a little bit, but they look like they have perfect clearance. And so now it's just a matter of adjusting everything to my liking. Looks pretty tightened up. She looks pretty good. Everything is matched appropriately. So now it's time to put the mirror on. These double take mirrors go in pretty easy. For Yamaha, again, you had to buy a reverse threaded nut to go in on the right hand side. So here I am trying to go the wrong way, and now it's in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on. This should just take a quick sec to get the mirror on, and then we'll be done with the right hand side. So this still goes in the normal direction, but this does not. So this is just not complicated. You just use a ram mount here, tighten this thing down, get it to where you want it to be, get your mirror set up, and these mirrors are nice, man. Looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and start on the left side now, and if I run into anything that is at all different from the right-hand side, I'll make sure and I capture it. But otherwise, it may go really quick. Well, one thing that's different on this side is getting the nut and the bolt off for the clutch. So wasn't that hard. I just had to find the unicorn, and I did. There he is right there. One other thing to note is that there is this very small sleeve that goes inside of the hole on the lever to ensure that you get it to pull up all of the slack, if you will. So I initially left that out, and I had to go back and get it out of the old lever, put it in here now, and I'll put it all back together. All right, I got it in, but I have to tell you that as a result of not putting the sleeve in the first time, you can see I kind of mucked it up down here. I put this bolt in, I tightened it up. It actually closed this entire bracket area in here, and that's why I was using some WD-40 on it, just to make sure that the action was good, and it wasn't, and so now it's perfect. But I bent it, so I had to use a screwdriver and bend it out a little bit. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt to get it back in there, so I had to use a rubber mallet. Make sure you don't do that. Make sure you use the sleeve the first time. It just is easier. While assembling the other side for the Barkbuster, I learned a couple of things. First of all, these bolts that go in here are two different sizes. The smaller one going in the back, it appears, the larger one going in the front so you can clamp it down. So I had both of the long ones on this side, and as a result, I had to remove the one on the back. And I realized that I was putting some tension on here. There we go. So the thing is, there's an order to doing this. And of course, I'm not reading the instructions. I think the order is that you tighten this one down first, not this one that holds this little cam into here, but this one. Get it tight all the way around that milled piece, and then tighten down the inner bolt. So I have loosened this up out here, I've loosened this up in here, and I'm tightening this down since it's this smaller or shorter bolt. And once I get it tight and the cam kind of adjusts appropriately, because it's loose now, then I can tighten out here, and then I can tighten here as well to put the least amount of stress on the entire piece. All right, I think I'm happy with everything. I checked everything lock to lock, got it all tightened up, and so I feel like I'm in a good spot. I push it all the way down here. I got it just maybe a finger's width loose, and if I come all the way in, checking my mirror, that looks good. Same thing on the other side. Everything is working a heck of a lot better now that I put the little sleeve in, as well as got the bolts tightened in the right manner. So I think I'm pretty happy with it. Now I'm going to move on to the bracket here. This is simple. It's just 4 bolts, and so probably not much to film there, but I'll show what the finished product looks like. So it looks like that'll do it. I got the the new bracket on, and I really like that, the way it looks, and the versatility of it as well. The double take mirrors are on, the Barkbusters are on, my new levers are on. Everything looks good from a clearance perspective, and so pretty happy with the handlebar upgrades on the Tenere 700. Now I need to get it out and ride it. Thanks for watching.